Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to show you what I usually get at the butcher shop and how I separate everything to freeze, how I prepare the meats to freeze. This video is kind of different, but I thought it would be a little interesting because butcher shops here are a little different. We have different cuts of meat, and it's also a good idea if you're out of ideas on how to save money for food. This is a good way. Buy things in advance, freeze them, and you're also prepared for the rest of the month. Anyways, let's get into the video and see what I have done. Okay, so this is what I got at the butcher shop. This weighs a ton. So I spent a total of 76 euros at the butcher shop, and let me explain. I have a freezer to fill, a new freezer, and so I decided to buy some meat to put in the freezer. So for the ground beef, I got 2 kilos and 22 grams. That was $6.72 per kilo, and that gives me a total of $13.59. For these pork steaks here, I paid, so there's 1 kilo and 300 grams there. It was $8.60 per kilo, which gives me a total of $11.18. Next, I got ground pork. I have of ground pork 738 grams. It's $4.99 per kilo, which gave me a total of $3.68. Next, I have the ribs. The ribs were, this is a kilo, 752 grams. It's $8.60 per kilo and gave me a total of $15.07. Here are the pork cubes. So I have a kilo and 252 grams. That's $7.50 per kilo, which gives me a total of $9.39. Next, I have the pork loin steaks. I have there a kilo and 280 grams. It's $9.50 per kilo and gave me a total of $12.16. And then back there I have the beef steaks. There's 914 grams there. It's $12.50 per kilo, and that gave me a total of $11.43. So all of this gave me a total of 76 euros and 60 cents. I know it sounds like a lot, but this will last me a long time. So now I'm gonna prep all of my meat and I'm gonna put it in the freezer. So for prepping my meat, I am going to be needing a scale, and I'm also using a bowl just to support the bags. And yes, the other thing I'm going to be using is freezer bags, ones that I am able to label. I had laid out a whole bunch of different bags, but I only use the ones that I'm showing you now. So I am just going to start by tearing up a few bags, getting them ready for when I want to prep my meats, labeling them. I would just try and decide how I wanted to do things. So when it comes to freezing meat, we have to think about the portions and how much of that meat we're going to use when we unfreeze it, or when we defrost it, because we don't want to waste meat, you know, and once you defrost some meat, it's not healthy to freeze it again. At least that's what I've heard, and I don't want to risk it. So yeah, I had to think about how I wanted to freeze this meat, and it was easy when it came to the steaks, but when it came to the ribs and the cubes, it was kind of hard to guess, so I just did half and half. When it came to the ground beef and the ground pork, I really wanted to freeze them in increments of 100 grams, but I noticed that that would be a waste of baggies. To me, initially, it made sense to freeze them at 100 grams per baggie because it would be easier to decide how much meat I want to defrost when it's 100 by 100 per bag. But then I noticed it would be so much of a waste of baggies because 100 grams doesn't fill a baggie at all. It would be so much of a waste. And you'll see it right now in the video. I am trying to weigh this out, and you see it 200 has almost no meat in there. So I did it up to 400 grams per baggie. I'd like to mention right about now you'll see me flattening out the ground beef, and that is a technique that I actually learned online. It is very practical, it's easier to store in the freezer, and it also makes it that the meat defrosts much quicker. This is a great idea. I think you should try it at home. So there we have it. I divided the 2 kilos of ground beef all into 400 grams, because I usually cook with 400 grams at a time. Then I divided the pork cubes into 2 baggies, just in case I want to make something smaller, but it's an option, you know. I'll probably use both bags at the same time, but just in case I want like a different option. Then I got ground pork here, 2 baggies. One has 400 grams, the other has 300. And then I got 4 beef steaks here. I have 4 pork steaks in this one and 4 pork steaks in that one. Then I have around 8 pork loin steaks in this one and around 9 in this one. And then I have the ribs divided into 2 baggies. I'll probably make both baggies at the same time, but for options, you know? And now I'm going to put all of this meat away. Alright, so that's a wrap for this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment down below to say hi, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future content. Until next time, bye.